Hello, I'm back again. We're reviewing another game. Surprise, surprise. Anyways, this game, Dave the Diver. Steam has been trying to get me to buy this game for so long now. I feel like it's been on my featured page on Steam for so long, and it's literally been there through like at least 5 sales now, and I just stared at it like, I'll get it next time. But I finally did it. I caved. I bought it. I got it with another game. And do I regret it? Absolutely not. This game is phenomenal. Let me tell you more. Alright, so as you might have guessed, Dave the Diver is a game about diving. Whoa, that's crazy, isn't it? This game is about you go down, you dive, you catch fish. It's a simple gameplay loop where you catch fish, you bring the whatever weight limit you have home, well, you try to get that. You bring your fish home, you make sushi out of the fish, you run the little restaurant, and then you make money off this restaurant. And that's the base level, like the absolute bare minimum. That is the gameplay loop that you will be playing in this game. Now, there's a lot of other things that come into the equation, like there's a bunch of missions, there's an actual main story to it, there's a bunch of characters, and all those characters have side missions. There's a bunch of just random events that'll pop up, like dolphins and whales will show up. There's boss fights, there's a shit ton of amazing cutscenes that are absolutely hilarious. There's upgrading your swimsuit, upgrading the restaurant, decorating the restaurant. There's so much to this game. And I'm going to try to cover as much as I can in this video. I don't want to cover everything because I want you to go play this game. But I'm going to try to get through it all. Anyways, we should probably start with, like, the most important part of the game, the actual underwater section. The basics of it is you're going to go down, you're going to swim, you have a harpoon gun, and you have a melee weapon. You shoot fish with the harpoon gun, you reel them in. Oh, they're too strong? You have to shoot them a couple times, and then you do a little mashing minigame or something, depending on what harpoon you're using to catch that fish. Or you could go full America, fuck yeah, and you can just pull out a gun, because you get one of those, and fish really go down to guns. That's the basics of the combat. Like, it's actually similar to a roguelike in the way where you're gonna go down and you're gonna find these randomized weapons. Well, not fully randomized. I think some are the same, but these random-esque crates that you'll find lying around, and these crates will drop different guns, different harpoons, different melee weapons, some different consumables, a whole different, like, a shit ton of different stuff. You're just gonna get different things, and sometimes through these chests you'll get level ups for this stuff. It doesn't stay. This all resets when you go back to the boat. That's why I said, like, it's like a roguelike. That's your combat. What you actually need all this for is there's some fucked up shit in the ocean, man. And there's a lot of sharks. A lot of sharks. There's lionfish. There's a bunch of different things that will actually attack you and hurt you. And you also just need to catch the fish in general, and using a gun makes it so much easier. But that's just the base. That's the basics of the combat. When you're actually exploring around, there's no HP in this game. There's just your oxygen. So when you get hit, you lose oxygen. Your oxygen constantly trickles down. When you sprint, you use more oxygen. But there's these barrels that are around constantly. They're pretty easy to come by. Oxygen is never really a problem in this game. Like, this is not a hard game. It's a very chillaxed experience. But if you get a bit too comfortable, that oxygen bar will fuck you up. And it will most certainly ruin your day. How the exploring works in this game is pretty self-explanatory. It's just kind of like 3 layers of the ocean. You go deeper and deeper as you progress through the story, and you unlock new items, and then as you go deeper, you find new fish. Woo, I love new fish. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Okay, so you're done fishing, nighttime rolls around. What do you do with all this fish you just caught? Oh, well, Bancho Sushi's right around the corner. Yeah, so you go, you bring your fish to Bancho Sushi. You're gonna run this restaurant. This is where you're gonna get all your money. Basically, you're gonna use the fish that you just caught, and you're gonna set a menu. A menu based on, sometimes on certain events, but basically based off of what you need, like good taste or a lot of money. And then Bancho's gonna make this sushi. Customers are gonna come in and order whatever, and then you're just gonna run around serving them. Sometimes it can get a bit too hectic, but that's what we have employees for. Hire somebody else, make them do all the work. You get to sit there with your hands down your pants. It's a pretty sick deal. Other than that, the restaurant actually is a pretty short element of the game. It's not too much. Like, there's like a rank up system and stuff, and then there's like executive guests, like VIPs and stuff, that come in and order special things to progress the story. But It's mostly just a little part to tickle your tycoon brain, and it's a very nice addition to the story. I very much like it, and I like how that's how you make your money. That's all I really have to say about the restaurant. It's very fun, so we'll move on. Alright, moving on to probably what's going to be my favorite part of this video is the characters and like the story of this entire game. The characters in this game are so funny. I'm going to explain the main ones. Here's the main characters. So obviously, there's Dave. Dave's he's a diver, and he's a little bit round around the edges, you know, like he's a bit chunky, but like, hey, we love that around here. It makes him happier. He looks like a happy little dude. I mean, he's just a diver. You play as him. There's not too much to explain about him. Then there's also your other main character is Cobra, you're like, that's your dude, bro. Like he's just the guy that dragged you out here and got you to start diving for the sushi restaurant and stuff. He has a little shop. He looks like a shiesty little guy, but he's funny. And then there's Bancho, the other of the main characters. He's your sushi chef. He is the biggest weeb. Well, yeah, he's a weeb. He's just like, he trained in Japan to learn sushi and Japanese cuisine, and now he just has his own sushi restaurant. All of his cutscenes are like samurai related, and it's very funny. But those are like the big three. And then there's like the other characters, like Dr. Bacon. He's the one who gives you all the main story quests, because he's the archaeologist, or whatever you call it, who's investigating the sea people that are down, because he still thinks they exist. Which, spoiler alert, they do in this game. But, like, he gives you all the main quests, and he's always around. He's just a goofy little nerd. Then there's some other, like, smaller characters. Like, there's Ellie, who's a marine biologist, and she's just kind of a saucy college student. Her missions are more so just, like, catch me some starfish, and let me make fun of Dave the Diver for a bit. Yeah, that's about it for her. Duff is very funny. Duff's your weapons guy. Whenever you need a gun, you go to Duff, and this guy is the biggest person of culture, let's say. Yeah, he's a cultured man. All of his cutscenes are interesting, to say the least. But Duff's very funny. All of these characters have so much flavor to them, and it adds so much to the game. I love it. And the main story itself is pretty, I mean, you just go down, see people, help the sea people. There's some story going on there. It's nothing too extraordinary, but it's enough to get by. But you don't really need any more than that when you have such great characters like this. Okay, well, I could have made this another section on its own, but I didn't wanna, so we're talking about it in this section. There's boss fights in this game, and believe it or not, the boss fights are actually pretty good. Your boss fights, you'll either, like, run into them in the main story, or they'll just appear randomly in side quests. Like, for the main story, you find, I think his name's John Watson or whatever. He's stupid. I don't like him. And you also fight like a giant squid and stuff. But there's also a bunch of side quest bosses, like one for catching Cleones, whatever Cleones are. I don't quite know what they are. But you catch 5 of them, you fight the big queen of those. There's also the goblin shark and stuff. You get the gist of it. Boss fights are in this game, and you know what's great? They are pretty damn good. Concluding thoughts, huh? Well, go play this game. This game is amazing. This is one of the best I've played so far. It is a super fun experience. It almost reminds me of like how it felt to play Stardew Valley for the first time. It's just a very refreshing gameplay loop. It's very simplistic, but there's so many neat little things that happen during you playing this game that just make it so much more enjoyable. Like, there's a cutscene for like a majority of the characters in the game, and each one has like multiple cutscenes. There's so much heart in the characters. It's amazing. There is so much for the cutscenes, and they really care about the characters in this game, and you could tell. These characters are fucking phenomenal, and that is a very important thing for me. Also, there's a lot of random events that happen in this game. Like, you meet some dolphins. They're pretty cool. You go through a small quest line with the dolphins. Same with like a whale. There's a bunch of different things that happen throughout the story. It just adds so much more depth to the actual gameplay. Depth, get it? Because it's a diving game. I'm so funny. But yeah, this game, phenomenal. I'm not going to give it a rating because you need to go play it yourself. I could show you 10 hours of me catching fish, and you will not understand how good it feels to play this game. This game is so refreshing and energizing. It's such a simple gameplay loop, but it's so addicting, and then there's new things happening. It just feels like a game where the devs actually cared, which is a nice change of pace. But that's all for this video. Thanks again for watching to the end, if you did, or if you just skipped to the end. Hello, nice to see you here. Honestly, this video felt amazing to make. I love it because I'm so passionate about this game. Now, when I say I'm passionate, I don't mean that I disliked playing the other games. It's just that this one was a truly extraordinary experience and you need to play it. But I'll stop yapping my ear. Go buy Dave the Diver now, and thanks for watching.